Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the show. This is the Science Dispatch Podcast. My name is Cameron English. That gray-haired gentleman, Dr. Chuck Dinnerstein, Director of Medicine at the American Council on Science and Health, all-around smart guy, and charming to boot. What's going on, Chuck? How are you?
I want to just say I earned all of those gray hairs.
I agree with you. I think the book of Proverbs says that gray hair is earned after a wisely led life, something to that.
Oh, I didn't want to say that part because I don't know that that's true. But my children and wife and career have all contributed to the gray hairs. But I'm very happy because they're gray instead of absent. So we take it.
There you go. Hair might be gray, but it's still there. Damn it. Okay. We have an amusing story, I'll say, to talk about. This is by our colleague, Dr. Josh Bloom, who is Director of Chemical and Pharmaceutical Sciences at ACSH. This is called Friday Frauds, Gatorade's Worthless Alkaline Water. Josh is a terse. Let's put it that way in this story. He says, Gatorade is selling, quote, electrolyte-infused alkaline water. Save your money and your groin. It's a stupid ripoff with implied health benefits, please. Maybe you can explain the groin comment at some point.
At the very end of the article, he shows you that it weighs 33 pounds to pick up a case of Gatorade special alkaline water, and hence the groin pull. There you go.
Okay.
Good thing
a bit of a stretch.
I was ready with that one.
Okay, I wouldn't have gone to a groin pull, back injury, drop it on your toe maybe, but
we're all old, you're not an oldster yet. You don't know the various choices we have. We have more choices of pain.
Fair enough. Okay. So in essence, what I'm taking away from the story is Gatorade is putting some all but useless supplements in their water and marking up the price, and you could just drink from your tap or some other bottled water and be fine.
We have an ongoing love affair now with water. And Gatorade, in this particular instance, and I'm going to switch and get rid of my surgical hat and put on my MBA hat and say that what they're doing here is product differentiation in a very competitive market. So what do I mean? As it turns out, water is a big deal. So I had to look it up today just to get some numbers to throw in there. In 2022, which was our peak year for hydrating, as it turns out, so far, each and every one of us drank 47 gallons of bottled water. And you're going to like this fact, and this is for the Maha people out there, that's compared to 36 gallons of soda. So already we're making America healthy again by drinking more water. It costs the 16 billion gallons of water that we then drank cost us $46 billion. This is a big, big business. And as it turns out, it has a very high margin. The calculations done by other people suggest that for a bottle of water that comes in a little plastic bottle for $1.29, the water content is about 1 cent. And you're paying about 60 cents for the plastic. And the rest of it goes to advertising. So it's a market with a big margin, and it's very difficult to differentiate themselves. So Gatorade, which has branding all around the idea of electrolytes, putting in, returning salt and other necessary electrolytes to athletes, is taking advantage of its branding, and to further differentiate itself so you can have Gatorade or Gatorade with alkaline, is jumping on that wellness bandwagon that suggests that alkaline water enhances our physiology. And to understand that, you need to understand a little bit about our physiology. We are ever so slightly alkaline in terms of our blood and the fluids on board. So the argument is that by drinking alkaline water, we support our bodily fluids. As we become more acidotic, as our pH starts to lower down to a lower rate, our metabolism stops working as properly, the enzymes break down, and we just don't do very well. And that's a true fact, as it were. Unfortunately, we have a system that works very well for taking care of that, and they're called our kidneys. And our kidneys have been around for at least as long as us. And they know far better than I how much salt that I need or how much salt I need to get rid of. They're also very good at keeping track of my fluid status, and as long as I keep myself adequately hydrated, they will let me keep or get rid of the excess fluid that I have. I mean, that's where you get that saying that beer is rented and never bought.
Let me just play devil's advocate because I'm bored. What's wrong with this? I mean, there's no harm. Like, it'd be one thing if they were telling you, this alkaline water will make you an inch taller, or it'll improve your kidney function. If they were saying something like that, that would certainly be a problem. But, for comparison's sake, I go to the grocery store, I buy body wash for men. It comes in a dark blue masculine bottle, and it has it's called like Ocean Breeze Driftwood or something, which in real life probably smells kind of brackish and unpleasant. But when you open the bottle, it has this beautiful, clean, you know what I mean?
Natural.
And using myself here as the guinea pig, if they were to put that in a bright pink bottle with a green pump, I would go, I'm just not going to buy that. That's disgusting because I'm a man.
Right.
So in other words, I'm fully cognizant of the marketing involved, but I still buy the product.
Yes.
And I can use it as a mouthwash or a toothpaste or a body wash or shampoo. And it's great. You know what I mean? So maybe there's nothing wrong is what I'm trying to say. What do you think of that?
There's nothing wrong with, Gatorade selling this. As long as you understand that you're just paying a lot of money for some very expensive water. But you're going to urinate out any of the alkali that's in excess. For most of the people, my guess is that they're not sweating profusely from exercising, so they don't necessarily need the extra electrolytes that were, put into it. But it has no significant physiologic downside. It has a fiscal downside. But then it's your discretionary income. You spend it as you wish. Then it's interesting. Then you get into the other advocacy groups will then take the same topic and emphasize one fact over another. So, for instance, the people that sell water point out that, the people that don't like people selling water point out the fact that the plastic bottles have to go into the landfill, and that the actual production of the plastic requires generation of CO2 and all these other things. So the water advocates point out that it only takes 13 ounces of water to make the 16-ounce water bottle. So that seems like a cost, but water bottles are made of very thin plastic, and they use far less water to make the bottle than they do with a soda bottle that has to deal with the pressure from the carbon dioxide. So that's one of their arguments about why water is more beneficial than soda. And then, of course, obviously the nutritional crowd will be happy to tell you why water is a better choice than sugary beverages, the great Satan of beverage choices.
Fair enough. I would be remiss if I didn't mention some of the AI-generated art that Josh has in here. He takes a shot at Gatorade's 7 steps enhanced filtration process. So it's the purest of waters. Josh says, which is 7 steps too many, but does remove minerals from the water only to have Gatorade put some back in, as you mentioned earlier. And who needs such pure water? Almost no one. If you are so concerned about health issues, stop letting your dog slobber on your ice cream cone, which is accompanied by a very overeager man with his tongue out next to his hound also licking the same ice cream cone. And I don't even want to know the prompt that went in to generate that image. But
Josh has found a new area to explore in his imagery. I give him that one. So it's interesting. There are some air quote valid concerns about our water use, because a lot of these companies buy the water from the municipalities at a significant markdown, and there's some concerns that we really shouldn't be giving the water over to large corporations that then charge us even more to have it back.
Fair enough. I'm just going to point out, I bought this aluminum bottle, this sustainable, earth-friendly
Yeti
bottle.
bottle. Is that a Yeti bottle?
It's a Yeti. It's solid, man. I think it's a Yeti. I don't know. It's a Mira, which I'm not being endorsed. I'm not being paid to say that. I bought it on Amazon for $12 or whatever. They sent me two, and I just put tap water in this, and I'm fine. So if you don't want bottled water companies sucking water out of aquifers or whatever, then stop buying it, and they won't do it because there will be no money in it.
All right. And in your home state, I would have to give a kudos to San Francisco, because, obviously you can't bring any of these water bottles through TSA. That's just not even allowed. But San Francisco is the only airport that I've seen so far that has a water refilling station on the opposite side after you get out of TSA, so you can refill the bottles that you came with good old municipal water.
There you go. Just, I don't know, drink enough water before you go to the air. It's not that hard. We're just, as humans, we necessarily, I guess, overcomplicate things and then fight about them.
Yeah, I mean, that's a whole other question, is where the need for this level of hydration came from. That there's an article back in the 80s that made up a number about how many ounces of water you must drink a day, and that has now become a tenet of faith.
Yeah. As you said, I mean, not necessarily with your kidneys, but it turns out your body knows when it's thirsty, and there's multiple indicators that you can go, oh yeah, I should drink some water. I'm reminded of, as we close here, the comedian Louis Black had a bit years ago where he said, when the water was free, more or less, everyone was like, hell, take a sip. But now that it costs, drink up, you prick.
Okay, fair enough.
So there you go. If you want to drink bottled water, go for it. If not, that's fine too. And have a nice life. Hope we helped again. This is our goal here. Solve problems on the Science Dispatch podcast. Once again, the article, if you want a little amusement and a little bit of science, Friday Frauds, Gatorade's Worthless Alkaline Water by Dr. Josh Bloom. That's on acsh.org. If you click the subscribe tab up top, put in your email address, we'll send you the stories that we publish. The ones you read are the ones that we talk about on the show. Thanks as always for joining us for a few minutes, and we will see you next time.